Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your March the 28th, just for today, in a meditation. Hope you're having a beautiful morning. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. Facing feelings. Okay. Facing feelings. Hopefully you can see that. I'm pretty sure you can. It says, we may fear that being in touch with our feelings will trigger an overwhelming chain reaction of pain and panic. Basic text, page 30. While we were using, many of us were unable or unwilling to feel many emotions. If we were happy, we used to make us happier. If we were angry or depressed, we used to mask those feelings. In continuing this pattern throughout our active addiction, we became so emotionally confused that we weren't sure what normal emotions were anymore. After being in recovery for some time, we find that the emotions we had suppressed suddenly began to surface. We may find that we don't know how to identify our feelings. What we may be feeling as rage may only be frustration. What we perceive as suicidal depression may simply be sadness. These are the times when we need to seek the assistance of our sponsor or other members of NA. Going to a meeting and talking about what is happening in our lives can help us to face our feelings instead of running from them in fear. Just for today, I will not run from the uncomfortable emotions I may experience. I will use the support of my friends in recovery to help me face my emotions. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Facing feelings. This is something that is such a solid meditation. Uh, when an individual cleans up, we find, I found, right, that there was such a surge of emotions, mostly anger. But there were a lot of emotions that needed to be navigated through. And one of the ways that I was able to do it, my suggestion was one, get to meetings and start listening more than talking, right? Get to meetings and start listening to people and see if you can identify the emotion that they're dealing with. Because as you begin to be able to identify the emotions that other people, and they'll tell you a lot of times, I was so angry or I was so hurt. They'll tell you, but a lot of times there's another emotion attached deeper to it. Sometimes I really believe it's fear. It's fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. It's having to deal, is sadness or hurt because of rejection. So try to identify if there's an underlying emotion attached to what they're expressing. The more you practice being able to put a name on that emotion, the more you'll be able to apply it. Oh, okay, that parallels with, right? Because we talk about the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without, right? The therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without what? Parallel. Okay. So see if you can parallel your own emotion to what you've heard in the meeting. Start practicing. There's pages that you can, images, you can go on the internet and it will show you emojis for certain emotions. You can print those off and get in the habit of being able to identify what that emotion is. There's some emotions that come that are so overwhelming. To sit in them by yourself is dangerous. And this is where I agree so much with this meditation. In general, I do. But this particular part of seeking the assistance of a sponsor or other members of NA is important. Many people have their sponsor's number in their phone, but they don't use it for anything. And when they do use it, the situation has progressed so far that it's difficult as a sponsor to try and navigate them out of it, other than encouraging them or telling them this sounds like you need to be applying steps such and such. I want you to start reading that and see where you can go back and apply this step and try to, break off pieces of the situation that should not have existed, right? So it's kind of retroactive. And then with the members of NA, the benefit of going to meetings and listening to people, and then maybe sitting with one or two after a meeting is just that you get to share more in depth. So when you're sitting there and you're identifying emotions, if you're comfortable with it, try to find just one person that you really identify with and you understand that particular emotion. Go ask them. It sound, hey, I really appreciate your share. It sounds like to me you're dealing with sadness, not so much suicidal depression, but I don't want to, I don't want to put that on you, but do you think it just might be like a ongoing sadness that you're feeling about the situation? I mean, you don't have a plan to take your life, do you? Okay. No, it's just you don't want to be here sometimes. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like you might be dealing with just sadness and it's ongoing, right? I'd love to do some coffee with you. Do you have an hour after the meeting? Do you have an hour? I'll drive, right? And then go sit down and talk about it. You just made a new friend in the fellowship by using whatever they're sharing about as the segue to that. And that's really going to help you because no one person can give you all of the things that you need, but you can have several friends. And the ones you identify with when it comes to relationships, hang out with them and talk. The ones that you identify when it comes to finances, hang out with them and talk. There's no place to go but up from here. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to talk to you soon.